Hi guys, it's Emma. Welcome back to another episode of Journal of a Piano Teacher. This is week number 2 of September. Before we get started on the video, I would ask a couple things of you. Please, if you are not already, subscribe to my channel. I would greatly appreciate it. And also give me a thumbs up and leave a comment in the comment section below. If you need an idea on what to comment, go ahead and put new beginnings. Okay, let's get right into the video. So here we are, week number 2 of piano lessons. I have now taught all 11 students. I started off my week on Tuesday at 4 p.m. Something like that. I should probably pull up my roster. I did not teach Ella this week. She was sick. However, I did teach Abby, and then Ella and I will pick up next week. So I taught Abby on Tuesday. I had to move 2 of my other students, the sibling pair, Eli and Rachel, over to Thursday this week. We just had a scheduling conflict again, but we should be back to regular schedule on Tuesdays coming next week. So hopefully by next week I have everything in order. That being said, I moved on to Tuesday. I began teaching Marty and Martin, who I drive to their house and teach them. They just recently moved, so we were still pulling books out of boxes as we were beginning piano lessons. So that was all fun and well. And then I came home and taught would have been Benny, because Marta, I was informed, was supposed to start this week. She broke her arm, so she will not be here until November. So I take that back. I guess I have not started all 11. I have started 10 of the 11 students, so that's still good progress. And then today is Thursday, and busy day. I started off by teaching Eli and Rachel earlier this afternoon, who normally will be coming on Tuesdays. And then I taught Joy, who actually is going to be walking straight from school over to piano lessons. So I walked up 2 blocks to meet her, since this is the first time she's ever done that. And we walked back to the building, the piano studio, together. Taught her today. And then I finished off my night by teaching Ronnie and Helen, who will also be moving their schedule to Tuesday. So my schedule will be all straightened out, and I'll have probably a slide for you to show you who comes when, but I'll just recap real quickly. So permanent schedule for certain will be Tuesdays. I will be teaching Rachel at 2:30, and then I teach her for 45 minutes. So then Eli will come at 3:15, and then Abby comes at 4. Ella comes at 5. I get an hour break and come back at 7 to teach Ronnie, and then 8 o'clock I will be teaching Helen. So that's my long Tuesday. On Wednesdays, I go into town to teach Marty and Martin. It just kind of depends on what time I'm in town that I teach them. Marta for sure will be coming at 4:30, but she will not start until November. And then Benny comes at 6 o'clock on Wednesdays. And then on Thursdays, I just will have Joy, who comes at about 3:15-ish. And that's all. So I'm hoping that I could fill up my time slots a little bit better. Looks like I have more time available on Thursdays, especially. I'll fill in my Thursdays first, hopefully, with brand new students. So I'm going to start some work on flyers and spreading the word on piano lessons and advertisements. So yeah, there. I kind of feel like I'm all over the place today. But we are getting into a regular groove of piano lessons. I have them down pretty good on the point system. And we're starting through our fundamentals theory books. So we're getting established in that, and I'm teaching everybody flashcards. And I'll probably insert a clip right about here to show you what the flashcards look like and go through how those work. And hi guys, so here's the clip I promised of flashcards. These are what the flashcards look like. See that there? There's 22 of them. Now, not all the students learn all of them at once, so some of the beginner students won't have quite as many. So the way I work them is I would hold this stack, and then I would set a flashcard in front of the student like this, and they have to look at that, tell me the note name, and then play it on the piano. So I just unplugged you from my headset. I hope this will still record with okay quality. So we have, this is F, so I'd say F, and then play it on the piano. And then I, as the teacher, would set another card in front of the student, then D, and so on. B, C, G. This is hard to do by myself. C, A, F, G. And while we're doing this, the student would be on a stopwatch, G. The student would be on a stopwatch, and I'd time them. A, F, B. See, I haven't even put it in front of my eyes. I used to be very fast when my own teacher would do this. That's G. F. My teacher would do this for me. I think my fastest time, that's E, was D. My fastest time, I think I got down to 11 or 12 seconds, something like that. D, E, C. Yeah, see, I can't do them fast enough. A, and E. So that's all of them. There you go. That's the flashcards, and then I'd stop the stopwatch. So I use, this is my watch, and I use the stopwatch setting. So there you go, the last student, Helen, that was her flashcard time. So 49 seconds. She doesn't do all of them, though. Anyways, I use my watch to time the students, and then we write down the times in the book. So here, I can't show names, though, so, okay. So here we go. There's some of the times for one of the students. And then here. So this is how we keep track of times. So here's, in the score pages, I have date, and then all of the, that's Ella's page, and then all of the things above so I can keep track of the points. So, yeah, that will be the end of the clip. And then, let's see, I was going to spend some time on my point system, so I'll have some slides inputted here so that you can see the point system. And while I'm pulling out my book with that paper, I spilled my stickers everywhere. That's fun. Okay, so score sheets. They get points for pages passed, flashcards, sight reading, and if you're not a music person, sight reading is looking at a piece of music for the very first time that you've never seen before, looking through the piece, and then trying to play it to the best of your ability. That is sight reading. Performance, okay, so my requirement for performance is that the student has to have played a piece for someone outside of their immediate family. So if it's grandma and grandpa outside the household, that's great. If it's sister, mom, dad, brother, that does not count. So it has to be for someone that normally would not hear the student practice. I also count points for weekly progress, attention to techniques, attitude, bringing music assignment book back to lesson, marking the days that they practiced, and hand position. Okay, so let's spend a minute to go into detail on each of these. So for pages passed, every time they pass a page, that means they've played it correctly for me at the lesson after having practiced it, and it sounds good and there's no way to possibly improve it any better. That means they've passed it. They get to put a sticker on the page, and I write a date on the page as well of the day that they finished the song. We call that passed the page. So they get 5 points for a regular page. Now, the theory books, they get 10 points for completing a page because those take more effort, and I want to encourage them to continue in their theory. Okay, going on to flashcards. Flashcards, they get 10 points per time that they complete those at the lesson. So as you would have seen in the clip, the student has to say every single note that I set in front of them and play it on the piano correctly. I put them on a stopwatch and I will count their times. We usually go up to 3 times in a lesson. Sometimes we don't get in 3 times, depending on the student and the amount of time that it takes to complete the flashcards. But I keep track of their times in their book so that we can see throughout the year how much faster they get at recognizing those flashcards. Moving on to sight reading, they get 5 points per page that they sight read. For performing for someone outside of their immediate family, they get 10 points per scenario. So if they play for grandma and grandpa one day and then they play for their friend another day, then they'd get 20 points total. That's just an example. Let's skip over weekly progress, go to attention to techniques. So they can score between 10 and 50 points. 10 being the minimum attention to techniques, and 50 being the best techniques that I've seen them do in a while. So techniques, let's summarize that. What I'm looking for is dynamics. So soft, loud, medium louds. I want to see if the student can play more than just monotone. I want to hear feeling and technique in their pieces. Other techniques include slurs, accents, timing, and so forth. Moving on to attitude. So they get 10 points per lesson for a good attitude. Now, that's just a given. The student can lose that 10 points. I will give them 1 warning per lesson, and they can keep the 10 points after the warning if they change their attitude. But they will lose the 10 points if they ignore the warning. If they lose the 10 points and continue to have bad attitude, I have to talk to the parents. Okay, bringing music assignment back to lesson. So they get 10 points for bringing everything. This includes the books that they're playing out of, their theory books, and their assignment book. Their assignment book is usually just a composition book that I write everything down that they're supposed to do that week. They lose those 10 points if any of their music is missing. So if they didn't bring their warm-ups, if they didn't bring their assignment book, which I have a student who constantly forgets his assignment book, so this will hopefully put him into accountability check. They also get 10 points for marking the days they practice. Now, the reason I changed this from last year they'd get 10 points per day they practiced, but some students have a disadvantage. Some students do not have a piano in their house. They have to go to a grandparent's house. Or some students just, they have more activities in the week, but yet they're still making progress in their lessons. So I feel like it's unfair to give more points to the students who practiced every day than others. So I'm giving 10 points if they practiced and they marked it in their book. Now, I still want them to write down which days they practice. Then I know, how often they're practicing, and I can encourage them to practice more if they need to. They also get 10 points for hand position. This works the same way as the attitude. So it's based on 3 strikes and you're out. So you start with 10 points for good hand position. First time I mention that your hand position is having trouble, that's your first strike. And I will just instruct the student, and that's fine. The second time is just to refresh their memory of what I reminded them of the first time, or maybe to fix something new, and then that's their second strike. The third time that I remind the students to continue to work on their hand position, and at home as well, the third reminder means they lose their 10 points. So that's how my point system works. And then I add up their total every week. So there, someone requested that I explain how that works. So that's a basic summary. And my video is already starting to get long, so I'll try to wrap it up here in a moment. But there we are, week number 2, 10 students, and all of them seem to be getting back into the groove of everything. None of them seemed, the second coming students, the students who had their second lesson for this school year, none of them have said, I still don't remember that. All of them seem to have gotten back into the groove of it. So that is good news. I did start back Marty and Martin and Benny this week. Benny, so Benny comes on Wednesdays, and he has also moved this summer. He lost all of his books. So that was interesting. I had to run home. I actually had to call home and have someone bring me some of my old books so that I could loan them to Benny, so that Benny could at least practice this week, so that we can get him some new books and get him started back into those. So that's the story with that. It looks like Marty and Martin, we found all of their books, and Martin actually told me, he's like, wow, I actually missed this, which kind of surprised me coming from him, because these are the boys whose mom made them take piano lessons, and this is their 3rd year, I think, on piano. Yeah. Anyways, so it's nice to be back to see all the faces, and feels like a fairly normal rhythm again. Once we get to a permanent schedule, I think that'll help me, especially get into the groove of things. Kind of happy that we moved Ronnie and oh shoot, I almost said her real name. Ronnie and Helen over to Tuesdays, which means Joy will be my last student on Thursdays, and that'll give me plenty of time to record, because we'll be done around 4:15. So I'll actually have time in the afternoon to record and not be here late into the night, because I'm sitting here at 9:20 p.m. here in the dark by myself in a building. So I don't like that too much, and I'm glad that things are going to change so that they aren't my last students of the week. Okay, so we're already 15 minutes without that clip that I'm going to show you of flashcards into this video. So I suppose I should wrap this up. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you guys are all enjoying your week. I hope you have a good weekend. Thank you for commenting below, and I hope you all have a good rest of your day or night or whatever time of day it is for you. I will talk to you guys next time. Thank you. Bye.